All right, everybody, welcome back for the week after yesterday's holiday session. I'm a little bit under the weather, not terribly, but I'm a little bit. I was sweating it out a little bit last night, but feeling better, I think. I can plow through this, and we've got some things to talk about. So, shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's take care of a little business. Really quick, I did want everyone to know that the video from last weekend has been posted, and that's in the gold and silver members section of the site. You should still have access to it. If you have any questions, reach out to Miss Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. How are you this morning? Stephanie's here. She'll help you out. Here's our risk disclaimer. Thank you. This is entertainment, not financial advice. Although we talk about the markets all the time. That's what we do here. The other thing, really quick, those that were still kind of on the newer end of getting set up, and those that are new members as well. So those that have subscribed or purchased, please, everything that you need to know is on one of the three pages on harmonictrader.com, and just follow the instructions. Go to the basic members page and fill out all the instructions here to get set up with any or all of the platforms. If you have subscribed or purchased, we'll take care of you. And then I'm uploading more resources to gold and silver members as I get my butt in gear. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm doing some things, some more things. So I'm restarting the content after a year and a half, 2 years of kind of backing away. And it's going to be a different format. It's going to be shorter. So I'm going to have a kind of a weekly segment on 3 ideas that we should be looking at. We talk about a lot of different setups, but I think what we need to do is get a bit more precise on all the content that I'm talking about. And then now let's get it down to a list. Also, we have the course, about 3 hours of information. I hope that was valuable to those that, we had a good crew. We had about 100 people there for 3 hours. I was impressed that most of them hung in. And then the monthly report. So check that out. That's all going on Harmonic Trader, but please start as a basic member and go through all the material there. I probably need to review that for 2 minutes every session because, yes, we're getting more and more people, and it's amazing. The community is definitely growing, and I want to support all of that. I just want to make sure the newbies, that if you're brand new, start there, please, so that you can understand stuff like what we're about to get into with Bitcoin, which is quite a change of 24, 48 hours. Quite a change. We finally have a 3-bar breakout, wouldn't you say? 3-bar breakout. This is more like a 15-bar breakout. So this is still type 1 behavior. Not totally ideal, but okay. Clearly target 1, 34, 123, which is what we have been talking about all along, is now going to materialize. Probably about 10 days later than I think any of us thought. I really felt as if once we came back and we checked back against that HSI signal, that would be give us a response, a reaction. And it took the better part of literally 15 bars to be realized after terminal bar. So we know that we're in a type 1 reaction. Very good. Thank goodness. We also know that this Bitcoin level down here at around 25,000 corresponds with some levels that we looked at from a year ago, which I'll get to in a second on the futures chart. But for the next month, 30 days, okay, maybe not even 30 days because we are already 20 into the whole deal, where we could get to this 34, 123 pretty quickly. And now the cat's out of the bag. That's what we said last week. On Thursday, we were kind of saying, hey, this has to happen soon, and that this will happen once it busts, it will happen quickly. That is something I found pretty interesting. And then here's probably above and beyond Bitcoin. I thought Ethereum was going to absolutely lose it this weekend. So I saw Ethereum do the back test of 1700. It was rather insane. It looked like it was just going to straight off fail. Where there's nothing. I mean, that's we've been very clear about the levels underneath here. That there's absolutely nothing. What is here is this crab pattern. It's not the best one. And I've said that, but the levels have responded where type 1, swing up to target 1 with a butterfly, back down for your retest in the type 2. Now what? Now, I mean, for my taste, the fact that you came all the way back down there and retested the hop level at 1783, little too much. Little too much. And then you spent the better part of 15 days going sideways. So let's keep an eye on Ethereum. It could be something that you're so, or me, I am so hyper focused on this area that every minuscule potential failure has such great significance. It's maybe even obscuring the possibility of some kind of reaction for me. Been thinking about that. Is this an opportunity? Are these oversold? Yeah, I would say they're oversold. But it doesn't mean that it can't go down lower. And it's something with Ethereum. Let's get a better. Where's Coinbase or Binance feed? There's Coinbase. Same deal. 1804. But absolutely, there's no room for more downside drawdown beyond 1800. And when you got to 1700 in the last 48 hours, well, that's would not take much more than that to absolutely trigger the failure. A close under 1700, and we talked about some extreme targets last week, and it's an either or situation. It always is, but I'm really I think we have to be really careful in this area. Ethereum, you're on a type 2. You do have some kind of confirmation. 1804 is your big number. You don't want to see this close under 1804. And you know, if you're at a type 2, here's your return down for the type 2 off of this crab. Well, you should go from hop to target 2, right? By definition, that's more than a double. Okay, that's something where if that's a successful retest of the crab and our target 2 matches up with the type 2 reversal, well, we need to see, I think, a lot of progress out of this hole. You would need to see dramatic action. Forget 30 days. I'm thinking 30 hours or 30, maybe 1 week, 10 days. Something's got to happen here, folks. The Bitcoin thing is encouraging. At least it's not going to be a straight off failure. Go back to the Bitcoin chart. Um, you have a pattern there. You have confirmation at 3,200. It's daily. There's Coinbase again. All right. Interesting thing about this is your confirmation is coming after terminal bar, but well above the PRZ. Confirmation comes in at 28,624. That's a tough one. But we have been talking about this reaction. I think that's all we should pay attention to for now. We could be in a nice little counter trend bounce. Let's deal with it this week and get up to 34. And we'll probably hit something, maybe 35, and give an overbought. Some kind of overbought. Look, HSI is already up there. HSI will probably pop into that overbought, expand a little bit for the next 2 or 3 days, and then come back down. 34.86, 34.100. Real interesting. Yesterday's bar was as good as they could come. It was so needed that this was just starting to kind of droop down. Where last week I said, hey, if this just rolls over and does a nominal retest back into the zone, don't be surprised. So, not ideal action, but with that breakout, all right, we'll see what happens up into target one level. But only reaction, only reaction. There are, here's something, I'm involved with this. I don't know if I'm going to stay in it, but I'm involved with this, and right off of where the confirmation triggered. Okay, and I think this is only a reactive trade. I said this before. Um, this is Chili's. There's your confirmation kickback at about 11, basically 11 cents, with target one at 17.5. Again, think about that as percentages. 6.5 cents off of an 11-cent price. That's a sizable percentage. That's what I'm looking for. However, if we do not follow through in the next 2 or 3 days, I mean, we're going to get to a point where I'm stretching it. I'm well beyond how much time I want to sit in, especially something sitting in the zone like this is. There's 30 bars. 30 bars puts me at June 11. Keep an eye on that. My thought with this recent move, especially Bitcoin, is that we come up and like a lot of these that we come up, we hit our target one, and then that ends up being the setup for the devastating type two. I really feel like this next rally, and we've drawn that on the futures chart. Once we get up to this target one area, around 34, 35, and trigger something, then you get the hard retest. Maybe that's the last move down structurally, comes in later this summer or right around the 21st. And not to get too far ahead of myself, what I really want to emphasize here is the nature that this is just reaction out of this move right now on Bitcoin. Same deal again. My position in Chili's, it's it's not that big. It's I don't know how you define big. Actually, I mean it's okay. It's it's a chunk. Let's put it that way. But I don't know how much longer I'm going to sit in this chunk. Maybe if we get to 13 or 14, I'll sell half if it doesn't follow through. That's for me. All of these have to follow through. That was the problem last week. Oh, speaking of follow through, check out Coinbase. This is something, patterns like this, all right, tell me that we don't want to sleep on the fact that this has been such a devastating decline. You know, the 1618 was at 117, but your hop level was 49.76. And look at how that responded, folks. This is more about the zone concept. This is really emphasizes why, even on these long-term charts, look, that's a crazy 60, 70 point range. All right, there is an opportunity down here on Coinbase, I feel, if they're not going to go bankrupt and take all my money. But maybe it's just a type 1 reaction, or even it's back up into the zone at 80, from 82 to 117. I think this is, showing us, like a lot of the rest of the market, that crypto's way oversold. Are we at the bottom across the board? I don't think so, but I the further we get on with this, we get through the summer, and if we can just kind of stop going down and put in some lows, then you could start to assess, all right, how will this work out into year's end? Amazing that last day of May, finally getting into the summer session. So it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up this summer, especially being the complete opposite of what's been going on since last year. Let's keep an eye on it. Yeah, you got to hold me to that, Nick. Nick's got it. Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to be a bag holder in Chili's, quite frankly. I'm probably up 7, 8%, but it's you can't even tell. It's so fractional because of that type of move. You're talking pennies here. And that was something the KNC of the world, the LRC, those other coins, amazing. I don't think it's. Take a look at this. LRC has done a few remarkable moves. Okay, did a big thrust move recently. I know there was a 4-hour crab pattern or something down here. It was an hourly. Yeah, let me see this. Yeah, I think it was we did the capitulation at the all-time 886. It was on this one and yeah, and KNC as well. Let me remove this. Yeah, this is a part of the 886 group, all the way down there. Your 886 is basically 42 cents, and we were looking anywhere under 42. We got an initial pop. It went back down recently. Remember a 382 move up to 175. Would not be crazy. That was how we were kind of rationalizing this, and KNC was another one. Well, all of these that have set up like this are looks like maybe they're just kind of coming back against this support, and it might take some time, or you might need to trigger some kind of reversal out of the indicator. Yeah, there's KNC in the Binance chart. I'm looking down under this 192, especially with that last daily HSI. Bullish HSI has been really good for Kyber. Here's the most amazing percentage mover of all. I feel is I'm just this is gonna probably be the last time I ever bring this thing up because the more I see about this guy, the less I like. But Hex hit the 4.9 cents. We talked about that last week. Remember the Gartley, and then there's the arrow. Where was what was the one at 4.9? There was some major pattern on the at 4.9 cents. Although that bat pattern on the daily is at what 1.7 cents. I'll have to go back and look. Maybe it's USDC. I'll have to take a look. But it hit the numbers, and you know after that whole Luna debacle, I think these guys that are showboats you have to watch out. I wouldn't, I think there's a million different markets that are probably better investments or better crypto than Hex. Sorry. And I'm not saying that this guy's going to pull a Luna, but this guy's, I don't know. You know, I wouldn't be caught dead in half the clothes he sports out in. Regardless, patterns have been saying down since 20 cents. We were looking at around 14 and straight down. Now you went to 4.9. What are you going to do? I don't think it's worth it. I just don't think it's worth it. I think Luna shows you that if you're skeptical on anything, just get out, stay away. There's a quick question about the placement of the terminal bar. Yeah, this sun icon. Listen, sometimes it's not exactly on. It could be a simple placement, illustration, graphic issue. terminal bar. Also, remember what the terminal bar truly is. I mean, the terminal bar, maybe you got to look at that if you don't realize that the terminal bar is the one that hits the final numbers in the zone, and you use that extreme. But it might be off a little bit because of graphic placement errors. All right, enough on that one. There was one other one I wanted to show. Oh, I'm sorry. Cardano, folks. We have to talk about Cardano because out of the whole of its all-time, basically 886 level weekly, you're looking for something, and I was really surprised to see this above 60 cents this morning. And let me get, yeah, there's Coinbase. That's a pretty good one, but Binance is probably better. So look at this. There's Binance. Look at that as maybe the first flash, if you will. I'm not jumping on Cardano just yet, but I thought I wanted to highlight this before I left crypto because I thought, you know, the 886 was all the way down here at 37 cents. 30, yeah, 30, yeah, 38, 37. You almost got there to 40. I mean, it was really close. So let's keep an eye on this because Cardano, obviously one of the big ones, it needed to stop going down. I mean, Cardano, yeah, there's a Gartley on the 4 hour. So let's see. Kind of like Hex, right? That's kind of like Hex was a few weeks ago. So let's see how this shapes up because if you're in Cardano right now, you might want to take note of this big bearish 4 hour pattern. We go into a type 1 reaction, and then you would still need to come back up. Something like that. The last one, at least in the crypto space, we haven't taken a peek at total. On the daily, we do have a few things. Actually, go to the weekly here. So total crypto market cap and Ethereum are probably intertwined. And for this one, yeah, this is different than what I wanted to look at. Maybe it's the DeFi index. I know 1.09 trillion. I've said this before on total crypto market cap is your absolute. Any close below that number, all right, it's done. That's how we know. That's how close this thing is. Let's see what happens if you can at least rally above 1.3, stabilize in here. Remember, last time we had any kind of a bottom, any kind of a consolidation bottom, was back basically last summer. Massive decline. That was all due to Bitcoin correction, but once that was in, you still did 11 what? 11 weeks, almost 12 weeks before you broke out of that hole. And now I wouldn't be surprised to see that thing go 10, 11 weeks, essentially another 6, 7 weeks takes you into July, where total crypto market cap is essentially between 1.5, 1.55 to 1.2. At least it has stopped going down, and then individual things such as Cardano finally showing a low. That's believe me, that's really something. Final piece on Bitcoin. Looks like we're Nasdaq futures running. Yeah, Nasdaq futures almost back to even. That could be pretty good. Here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin futures chart with this breakout shows us even better. There you go. That real reactive crab pattern going on here. So no confirmation down here at all. That's all right. 34 184 on the futures. Hold on. Let me bring that into view. Yeah. And I think this is 34, 35,000. You're trading 32 at the moment. Gives you a clear window of 10% now. I mean now, because even on the weekly chart, the candle that you're going to form is essential. You would want to really be above the 3 bar candle, which is right there at 34,546 by Sunday or Friday, whenever they close this. And you do have a prior gap at 36,000. So, that's not a surprise. Daily chart is actually, I think, the better pattern just to follow along with. The This crab pattern should take off from here. Do a day over day continuation. Just to highlight also, folks, the prior gap in the zone where we could come back to there and fill this. Come on. Do it this way here. One second. Yeah. Essentially fill that gap, folks. 36,000 is the top side for this target. 34 200, 34 100, yeah. Not bad, not bad. Again, I still think reaction, and then we go into June 21st, the solstice thing that they like to do. We'll see if this can be an up cycle into the 21st of June. The 30 days already started. Otherwise, I will stay to this, and let's keep it simple for all crypto going forward, that we crack these numbers on total crypto market cap, then forget it. You're going to see more Lunas. Just watch that. That's about the only thing you really need to worry about. Let's jump over quickly back to markets on NASDAQ. Much like Bitcoin itself, probably NASDAQ even more so, the fact that we have been just trying to put a floor at the 11,848 and how critical. I mean, just screaming. I mean, screaming make or break levels right here at 11,848. And we held. We had to do an 8-9 day consolidation, which is not what we look for or not what we expect typically, but all right, so be it. And now you're in a different position where you've broken the downtrend out of this zone, which is what you want to piece together for that move back to 14,259, 14,260. See what happens by the close today. I would not be surprised to see this thing up. They're off 37, 38. With everything going on, folks, we're still not going to be able to get away from the dynamics of the patterns. And that's really the takeaway. It is pretty crazy, I think, out there with the prospects of severe inflation. We'll look at those numbers when they release them, I think this week. But if we start printing double digit and we can't get this thing out of control, well, you're going to have to deal with it no matter what. I think that's the kind of the takeaway. It's going to take a toll, but you're still going to follow patterns. You're still going to look for reactions, even in a market environment that's just not. It's not bullish. It's not as hot as it was a year ago, 2 years ago. So any bullish setup, it's going to take some more time, and we can pass on this. This one did not have ideal confirmation. Still doesn't. If anything, you're getting close to registering an overbought, which would make sense. Maybe we go up a little bit more, another 1,000 from here, and then we register some kind of HSI. Not out of the question where this is just kind of a dud. It still could be a dud pattern for NASDAQ. At least for now, you were able to hold the hop, which was on total life support 10 days ago. I mean, 10 days ago, this thing was threatening a full on collapse. And at least for now, you didn't sell off like a bearish engulfing today. They're actually managing to hold up pretty close to Friday's close. So let's see what this where this finishes the day. I suspect higher. Is there anything on a 5 minute for you futures people? I'll kick out. Oh, look at that. That's a 5 minute chart, nothing. What about like a 30-second chart? Pull up the 30-second chart for those that are do trade the NQ. I think you'll find a lot of opportunities. I've got nothing right now, but maybe we get something in the next hour or so. A crab or a shark pattern. A lot of times, even if you don't have anything, it's good to look at what's been forming over the last 2, 3 days. You see a lot of bearish retracement patterns working here, some bullish retracements not working, extensions working. Let's see if this might come all the way back down for the type 2. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe back down to 572 and then you go. I want to update one or two markets here in NASDAQ space that I think are, in a good position. We want to take a look at them. And this is one of the list of the three ideas. I'm only going to give one out to you folks. But of the three ideas for the gold silver members, AMD is something I want to get on the radar now because of what's happening out of this zone. And I think it's going to take time. But the clear target at 120, folks, still tells us I think that's the position for this counter trend reaction. And take a look. Yeah, look at this. And there's a gap right here. Prior gap, basically at same level. Now, one way that I'm looking at these type of patterns, there's a lot of them that have weekly or daily. Just bring up like a 5 minute time frame. Nothing here. I mean, well, actually, we had that crab pattern. That's right in the zone. You got a small pattern right into the big pattern. Yeah. This is 103 right now. This might be something where, again, nothing here at the moment, but I'm going to be looking in the next several days into Friday, some kind of pullback. Even if we got like a shark pattern back down to 100, that's where I want to kind of load up with maybe some weekly calls. And if we're going to get this pop and roll where we in NASDAQ, it's shaping up to do so. A lot of patterns like this. So there are a number of bat patterns currently that have finally gotten out of the zone and are on their way to at least target one reaction. We could have be in a nice window here for the next 2 or 3 weeks with that upside follow through. Even in a bearish downtrend, even if the long term stays bearish, keep your eye on that one. The other one there's one more. Here was the other one. So we talked about the Zoom communications. This is on a weekly. This is going to be long term. But there's another group of these IPO stocks that came out in the last 2 or 3 years that have formed major patterns like this. Don't be surprised for this whole consolidation to take 30 bars, 30 weeks on Zoom. And we want to be looking for opportunities under this zone. Basically under the first low there, about 92, between terminal bar 115 and 92, 95. And nothing here at the moment, but bring up a 5 minute chart. I think in the next week or so, we could see a little pullback on something, give us a 5 minute bullish continuation pattern, and then we go. So it failed the last two. What about a 30 minute? Nothing there yet. Nothing there yet. Actually, you got a bat, crab, whatever coming off the low. Maybe we get a type 1 pullback and then we go. That's the thing with a whole bunch of those long term patterns that are shaping up like this, where, uh, yeah, I want to keep my eye on them. They're going to come to us over the next week or two, especially if we can get a pullback. If we can get a little pullback in this zone, that would set us up for probably a summer run. Let me jump over to crude oil, which is okay. We only need to ask ourselves one question. The one question everyone needs to ask themselves: will the price of oil or gasoline, whatever, will it be higher in 6 months than it is now? And nobody really knows for sure, but likelihood is, yeah, it's going to be higher. This isn't going to stop. Uh, Stretch that out to say, what are we going to do here with the spot price? Is it going to break out to all-time new highs? Because we are at the 886, and this is even with that crazy negative 40 spike. But here it is. And I think this has done the pause that we said a while back that, hit this major 886. That was at 127, by the way. And it was almost exactly the top right there, 886. So maybe that set up a pause. Maybe this pause then keeps going. Because if we do trace it out, and I did want to, even though it's not kicking up automatically, this is something I mentioned. Look at this monthly chart. Amazing. That's the monthly chart. Incredible. Let me look at December. There you go. On the weekly. A lot of these back month, December 22, December 23, are well above anything that would be pausing at the prior all-time highs. So have to understand that the spot price and that spot chart on continuous crude is not an accurate picture. And you have to go back and look at things like this, which is all-time chart on December 22, and then you look at what is it doing at 886? What's it doing at 1.0? And we're up here. We break out above here. Where does it go? And just as a simple measurement, I mean, you could say, oh, well, you could just project numbers anywhere. You can. But this is how we look at it. This is how we would project our numbers on a month like this. So we're well above the 886. And it's essentially going to be a 1618 move or a 113 failure. 1618. That's on the front on this December month is 122. That would take your spot price to all-time highs. And we've been here before. I'll have to find that session where we went through historic charts. It was a couple weeks ago, but crude oil, what it did in the 90s, what it did in the early 2000s. There was a couple of cycles. That's how severe we are, folks. And again, you have a nominal pause on your continuous chart, which is misleading. And a lot of the stocks are just raging. I mean, the stocks are raging. There's the December 23. Essentially, folks, what you want to look for in the next week is a breakout above, say, the spot price goes above 127. On these back months, they go to 95 or 100. That'd be a big move. That would be a big move because finally, if you get premium to build into the back months, a year out, 18 months out, then you know it's going to be here for a while. And that's what I feel is taking shape when you look at the total board, as they say, all the different contract months. But I mean, this action here, folks, is technically, I could be anything. Could be, Cheetos. I don't know. The just extreme technical continuation that you default. What do we do when we have patterns that fail on our primary time frame? You have to go to the larger time frames. If it's weekly, kick to monthly. If it's monthly, go to quarterly. And on any time frame, that looks like a 1618 breakout. We A close above these prior highs will seal it, and then you're off to the races. I mean, some kind of spike is going to happen. That's not necessarily my fear. I just think that that's how it's going to unfold, and we've seen that before in nat gas. These these massive prices can be realized. Are they sustained? Rarely. I mean, rarely. Here's nat gas. It's off a bit today. I'm still looking for it to come back in and give us yet another opportunity. But all you need to know about this major pattern, that's what we're targeting at basically 15 bucks eventually for this cycle run, maybe as high as, sorry, I didn't even show the hop. Look, possibility for a massive retest up to 1834, 1830 and change, something like that for the cycle high to retest the monthly is what I would be aiming for. That's why we are, not even halfway through this. Yeah, I need to dig out some of the presentations we did with natural gas down here at the 150 and $2 mark and $3 mark and what we were saying all along. Because this stuff takes time. And getting from A to B can be a challenge since this whole scenario might take another 18 months or more until it gets up there. But it's not going to change. The energy situation and where we're headed with a lot of this um, is showing us that these stocks, these markets are going to continue higher. Here's Chevron, folks. Chevron on a monthly chart. Now, here's what I want to watch out for on Chevron is we're up at this hop level. It's really tough because we didn't ever have a full retest of the Type 2 on Chevron. Okay. We don't have any confirmation. We're well above the hop level on the monthly. But look at HSI, what that's doing. All right. Be mindful of that. Also on the monthly and tomorrow's monthly close, uh, incredibly significant. So today, the fact that these are up, markets down, and these were up, still strong here. And this is where you could do a whole lot of continuation, if especially if amplified stays in the overbought. And I'll just steer your attention back to here. All right, you had similar situation with severe high readings of not only amplified RSI but HSI, and look where that was. I mean, you were down there around 40, 50 with a long way to go before you had any kind of pattern development. In fact, on that cycle move, you doubled. You doubled off of that cycle move where you got the first signals, register, indicator, triggers, but you're still early in this. It's dramatic. I mean, this is definitely a remarkable move for oil stock. Now we need to see how this all reacts in the next month. It looks like it wants to go to new highs, and so be it. Here's the XLE, which is the ETF. This too looks like it wants to go back and retest all its patterns. Up at 101.50, as high as 109. I've been saying this for a while that the the target for these is more like 99 or 100. One second. I know what's going on here. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay. Thank you. Keep an eye on that. And then some of the energy ones that I've been talking about long ago. Here's Devon Energy, 77. I mean, that's up off of 10. Here's one or two that my long term ones, folks. Marathon. Remember this puppy? 32, 34. Remember us buying it at 7, 8, 10, 12? These all want to go retest their all time prior cycle highs. At this point, something like Marathon, I think we were targeting like 23 or $24. It just blew it right through. So your all time 886 on Marathon, 37 and change. That's where I'm looking, first looking. And then, sorry about that. Let me get this back over. Um, Here's the other one. Remember ExxonMobil? This had a big weekly bat pattern. There you go. So we were looking at this one down around, yeah, that bat pattern. It was after COVID, but then just absolutely rocketed. I know there's something there on the quarterly even. I knew there was it's big 886. That's what it was. There is a bat off of the 2002 low. So, here's the thing with ExxonMobil. You're at the 886 already. And let's see what happens next month because essentially energy needs to explode. I hate to say that, but you need to see these energy stocks rip into the next month and break out to all-time new highs. ExxonMobil, the all-time 886 is at 96.13. So be let's watch how this closes, the week, the month. There you go. There's the weekly. And it gaps up. Look, last week we hit the 886 in the weekly. Weekly chart terminal bar at 886 it was last week. So bullish into the zone. And then we gap up on the open to start the week. Now, let's see what happens. Doesn't mean we can't finish the week in ugly fashion, but this is where the real make or break for all of it comes into play. If we're going to get all-time new highs on crude oil and nat gas retest, the kind of the next wave, if you will, believe it or not, will start this coming week. And we'll know by the end of June what this will do. There's one more. Continental Resources. This is something I talked about basically, I think it was $30. It was 18 because it was off of this thing. Come on. It was off of that shark. I have to go back and I'm going to pull out the sessions where we basically went to town on crude oil. It was fall of 2020 and lined up a whole bunch of these. Last one that partly in this group is Transocean Rig. This is definitely more speculative. This big bat pattern down here. I can't remember if it's daily or weekly. Yeah, it was this bat pattern back last fall, actually. It's a perfect bat. Now we're in the type 2 return for the crab. There you go. So keep an eye on this. This has not broken out above 5. Every time it hits 5, it sells off. Let's see what happens. Makes another run. I think 517 is doable. Do we explode through there or do we get rejected? That's what I want to see with all of these. Are they going to blow out these 886s, go to all-time new highs, set in the next wave, or is it going to go into a pause? A lot going on with crude oil, and the rest of it, I think we're just going to talk reactions for most of this summer on any kind of major moves. If it's crypto or if it's Nasdaq, let's see where Nasdaq is now. Did it come back to the 570? No. Where was it? No, we didn't get down there. I think it was on the 30-second chart. No, we didn't get down there. All right, wait, we didn't come down to that retest that shark, but all right, so be it. Maybe they're going to run it back. It is the end of the month, and don't be surprised if they try to make this, try to repair damage. You're now plus 20 on Nasdaq. What about a 5-second chart? Sometimes when this stuff gets away from you, you still get an entry on like a 5-second chart. Nothing. Ever since that thing, that's almost looks like a Fed buy. Yeah, have to wait on that. But we'll keep our eye on all of this, folks. I mean, the scenario is pretty clear. Once we violate the prior lows, if it's crypto, if it's Bitcoin, if it's Nasdaq or Dow, all that stuff that happened last week and the week before, where they finally made some lows. Again, that at least established something for now. I think we got to see what happens with Bitcoin once we get to our 34,000 level. That's the chart to look for in terms of Bitcoin and crypto in general. We could get into this type 1 reaction. I'm going to say it. I've repeated myself many times over where altcoins might run. Maybe they might run, but I don't think it's going to be more than 10% moves. So maybe that's the plan, is just capture those. Here's the other one, crypto.com, folks. I'll leave you with this. Crypto.com is something that I'm looking at immediately now as a potential reaction. No confirmation. It's a bummer because it's such a great deep crab on the daily. But let's see. Somewhere under 19, your XA level is 18.75 cents. Under there's your preferred area. BTC session high. Thanks, Mr. Lodak. Appreciate it. How are you doing? And everybody else in the chat, thank you. I'm going to head out a little early today. I'm a little under the weather. I'll be better tomorrow. Or, no, I'll be better on Thursday because we had the holiday yesterday. But I'll be back on Thursday, folks. Please get with basic membership. It all starts there. And I think we might be taking this offline because we have a bot attack. Is that correct, Miss Stephanie? But just start here, become a basic member, and if you have any questions, get on the Discord. If you want immediate service, somebody to get back to you immediately, one of us is there. Stephanie is usually there. Miss Stephanie can answer your question, or I can get back to you probably a little longer or later than her. But click on that, accept the invite, head on in. Appreciate it. That's been a great group. That's been a really great move. I'm grateful that we made that move when we set that up. It's been a real active and a good community, secure as well. So that's what I have for today, folks. Thanks again with your patience with me. I'll be back on Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. So until then, go get them, and we will catch you on Thursday.